Welcome to season 2 of the Energy Upgrade podcast. I'm your host, Vanessa, master biohacker and successful entrepreneur. In season 1 of the Energy Upgrade, you got to have a taste for my obsession in all things health, energy, entrepreneurship, spirituality, and biohacking, or how to take radical responsibility in living a life by design. As a certified health coach, integrated health practitioner, kinesiologist, and seasoned entrepreneur who built and sold a 7-figure business, I want to dive deeper in this season 2. After healing myself from burnout, from my health falling apart, my hormones leaving my body, I'm here to share everything I wish someone had told me. Every day, I have the incredible opportunity to be mentoring women and supporting them in becoming true magnetic energy bombs. I'm helping them remember who they were all along. It's so powerful that I want to take you in on the journey, almost as if you were a fly on the wall. You'll find that I'm not your typical health coach, and I'm not your typical business coach either. I'm somewhere in between with a lot of spirituality sprinkled in there. This podcast is a sacred place where I come and share with you things that will bring you a high return on investment, because yes, I'm all about ROI. Life goes fast, and if I can show you a shortcut or two, I'll have succeeded at bringing you value. Thank you for being here. Let's go.
Your time is now. Your energy is your life force. You want to be able to magnetize your wildest dreams. A liver detox is the fastest way to start healing. You can and you will.
Welcome to another episode of the Energy Upgrade. This is Vanessa Grutman, your host, and I'm so excited to have you here for another beautiful Tuesday. And today I'm joined by such a beautiful, luminous lightworker woman, a songwriter, a beautiful artist that you perhaps already know because she is quite famous. I'm so excited to bring you into this conversation with Heidi Rojas, who is a #1 hit songwriter, artist, proud first-gen Latina millennial mama of 2 based in Los Angeles. And Heidi and I actually connected on social media. She reached out, in fact, a few months ago, being really feeling called and aligned with what I was sharing. She started attending some of my events, and we just started cheering on each other on Instagram. And it's just been so incredible being in her space, seeing all the amazing things that she is putting out to this world. Now, this conversation is really going to hit home if you are someone struggling with really speaking your truth, with using your voice to activate your power, to share your message, own your superpower. You're going to see how Heidi has a very unconventional path in the world of music, in the music industry. And that's why I wanted her to come here and have a conversation around, when you know you have a gift and when you know it's time, it doesn't matter what others think. When you know. And this conversation is definitely going to awaken something in you. I know this for a fact because even as we were recording, we were both like, having so much download, so much fun. It was, it's really a really high frequency type of conversation. Now, I want to tell you a little bit more about Heidi in case you don't know her already. She, for more than a decade, she's lent her songwriting process to co-write hits with renowned artists like Little Mix, Cheryl Cole, Dove Cameron, Pitbull, New Kids on the Block, just to name a few. And in a beautiful twist of fate, she recently channeled her creativity into crafting her own empowerment anthems and soothing lullabies, championing the voices of Latinas, women, and mothers worldwide. Heidi's music is safe for the whole family, channeling one's inner goddess and connecting with one's inner child. Can you start to see the connection here? With over 30 million social media impressions and 500,000 streams on Spotify in the past 6 months alone, Heidi's music has become a beacon of strength and relatability for her growing community. a song, and she is also a songwriting artist. She is a development coach. She is a voice mentor. She is supporting our aspiring singer songwriters worldwide, helping them discovering their voices, refine their crafts, and uplifting the next generation of musical talents. In the coming year, actually, this September, she is also releasing her first bilingual children's book with a song that will go with that. She now also has exclusive merch and apparel. She is sharing new music constantly. She is truly, truly a powerful light worker. And it was so beautiful and humbling for me to have her on this podcast. I know you will enjoy every single minute of this. So I hope that you are in a safe space wherever you are right now, ready to dive into this beautiful and epic conversation. Now, let's go and meet Heidi. Heidi, welcome to the Energy Upgrade. I'm so excited to have you here today. Thank you, my dear, for being here.
Of course. Thank you. I'm so excited.
So, Madre Creator, the beautiful mama that you are, the beautiful Latina that you are, you have been going through a bit of an unusual creative awakening, to reuse your own words, which I love. And it's just been so wonderful to witness you from afar through social media, which is really how we got connected. Another proof that this is not all bad. I'm so excited to dive into a conversation of truth, of passion, of, the importance of really sharing what's on our mind. You are a songwriter. You are just you're just a beautiful human. You're a very exquisite soul. So I want to know how the heck, like, how did this thing happen that for you in your 30s, you are now becoming a singer? Tell me about all of it. I know you've had two beautiful children, and I know that sparked some of your creation, but yeah, tell me all of it. Where did it start?
Thank you. Yes. Gosh, I've always loved to sing. I started singing before I could even talk. And then I started singing at church when I was 8, and no one could stop me. I graduated early from high school and released an EP and toured around. I used to cold call churches and say, "Hey, I have an EP. I want to sing, some songs for you, and take donations and perform for whoever." I mean, I was like destined. I was dead set on being an artist. And and then I went to college because my dad my parents are immigrants from Cuba and from Guatemala, and they've worked so hard to create an amazing life for us here. And my dad was like, "You're going to college." And so I did begrudgingly go to college for entrepreneurship. I got a degree in business marketing, thinking I'll never use that. And then I moved to Nashville and started writing songs. I actually worked at a record label, kind of had my moment as Hannah Montana, where I was like in the label meetings, fresh out of college, and then also like writing songs and performing at night.
Nice.
They didn't know that I was an artist, and so I got in on a bunch of cool, interesting meetings that artists are, not invited to usually. So I got to see the music industry in a different way. Then I moved to Los Angeles as an artist. I had an EP that I had just finished and released, and I was ready to just be the Latina Lauryn Hill or Alicia Keys, and then it was interesting because I met this guy who introduced me to the idea of songwriting. He ended up becoming my husband, which is crazy. But he was like, "Yeah, you can write songs for other artists, and while you're kind of like cultivating your own songs that and your own sound and what you really want to say and all of that." And I was 24. I hadn't really, fallen in love or gotten my heart super broken or really, like dug into who I was as a person. So I was having a really hard time finding what my voice was and what I wanted to sing about. So I started writing for other people, and kind of the therapist in the room, like whatever that artist signed to Capitol Records was going through, I was like, let's get it out. Let's share it with the world. And that felt really fun and easy. And then I started building my family. I got married to this guy who showed me how songwriting could be a whole career. And I really was so happy. We bought a house. I started like nesting and renovating, and then I had my daughter, and through so my daughter's delivery was really intense. I had a placental abruption during delivery, which
Mm.
kind of was like a emergency we need to get her out, because essentially her the umbilical cord tore off of my uterus, so she wasn't getting oxygen. So they were just like, we need to get her out now. I herniated a disc in my back, just like pushing and getting her out within 8 minutes of beginning, like from start to finish. It was crazy. And there were some complications afterwards, and I was the first year of her life, not just a new mother, but I was recovering from the back pain, from the trauma of a near death experience with my daughter, and the postpartum depression that came after that as well. Also, just kind of an identity crisis of like, kind of reclaiming my Latinidad as a Latina who was born and raised in America, in the Midwest, in the 90s and the 80s, where there was no representation of other Latinas who do anything other than the housekeeper or the mistress or the, sexy, edgy, the stereotypes of Latinas. And so I kind of had like a very whitewashed, like just confused idea of who I am in the world as a Latina. I also would visit cousins, and I was always the white girl, and I was never felt Latina enough. And so just what that looked like, I deconstructed my religious upbringing at that time too, because I was like, okay, I have a daughter. How am I going to raise her? What role will spirituality and religion have in her life? I literally just did like a full life, like audit of my own life, of like who
Mm.
I was, because I wanted to be the best version of myself for this little creature that I created that didn't ask to be here. So I want to show up for her. And so that was a wild ride. Also, not getting a lot of sleep, and learning how to keep a little person alive. It was one of the most intense years of my life. She turned 1 and I became pregnant again. Like, whoops, that was going fast. And then a month later, the pandemic hit. And so I was having a baby during, the height of COVID in 2020. So motherhood completely shifted all my priorities. It really like shifted all of my friendships. And just what life means to me. So of course it's gonna shift. It's gonna really change how my career and how I see myself moving forward as a songwriter, as a businesswoman, just like all of my identity. So what I wasn't expecting though, Vanessa, is that it would turn me back to writing songs, but not for other artists, but songs about myself
Mhm.
and my life and my religious upbringing. Nothing was off the table. I wrote songs about writing boundaries with my family members who benefited from me not having boundaries.
Yeah.
I wrote songs about my perfectionism, serial perfectionism. I wrote songs about um, feeling bullied when I was little, feeling bullied as an adult. I wrote songs about everything you can think of, and I'm still writing songs. I'm sitting right next to my piano that I use to kind of clunk and chords around, and it's been so incredibly healing to just, during that time, it was like 2021, 22 that I really started writing these songs that, including this song called Madre Creator, that was just about really channeling and claiming my superpowers as a mother, as a woman. And it's crazy how my husband's in the music industry still, of course. And I was like, listen, don't think you can, I don't think you can get these songs like pitched to other artists. like, I don't, he's like, oh, maybe Kelly Clarkson could sing this one or Pink could sing this one. And, and I was just like, I think I have to sing it myself. I
Mm.
have to share it myself. And so that was my long road to becoming an artist, a singer at 37. I'll be 38 in a few weeks. Very unconventional, as the music industry says. Past 27, the music industry is pretty clear that women and I mean, men have a little more of a runway, but that women are just essentially irrelevant and have nothing to offer. And I'm standing up and just saying, you know what? I love the top 40. I'll dance along to whatever song is hot right now, but lyrics are my jam. And I cannot relate to 90% of what's out there. I am happily married. I am really pursuing my mental health in a serious way. I'm, you know, a lot of the songs in Spanish, like the reggaeton that I love, but they're all like culo, culo, but which is like, but, it's just all, so much of it is just like fantastic, but inappropriate for children. And I have two kiddos who can understand English and Spanish. And I also want to feel empowered as a woman who feels lonely sometimes and doesn't know what I'm doing and feels insecure and doubts myself and questions the direction that I'm going and I just need songs that are like, girl, you got this. Like, don't like you're not alone. You've made humans. You can do anything. Like that kind of, just mantras. And I couldn't find anything like that, so I started writing them. And I thought to myself, like, there's got to be a group, a little community of people who will resonate with this, and why not just try? And every reason I thought of to not do it, I heard my ancestors be like, chica, niña, nena, mija. We did not escape Nicaragua and the Cuban Revolution, colonization, all of these different wars, so that you could question in this moment whether you have something important to share or not. And so I just went for it. And to be born in 2024, or sorry, born, oh my gosh, to be like born as
it is a rebirth. It is a full-on rebirth. Do you realize what you're going through right now? This is like a rebirth.
Exactly. So to be reborn in 2024, where social media makes it possible to connect with anyone in the world and to share your truth and have it resonate through hashtags and algorithms, like, it's the perfect time. There are no gatekeepers in music anymore. Labels are in a frenzy because they're like, there's no way to get to the masses other than the same exact way you and I do.
Yeah.
And so it's been amazing. This last year, from February of last year that I released my first single to now, has been unbelievable. And now when I look at the like the potential of what my life can look like, I'm just like, this is going to be a wild ride, but it sure is going to be healing, and it's going to be abundant, and it's going to be so much fun. So,
oh my goodness, where do we take this from now? I just feel like everything has been said. It's so juicy. It's so yummy. It's so perfect. Are you on your journey back to you? Are you trying to cultivate more energy, more wealth, more heart, more alignment in your body, your mind, your soul? If so, that's exactly why I have created the Soul and Wealth Club. This club is a sacred membership for women who are ready to heal their bodies, their mind, and soul in order to live a life of purpose with more ease and flow. Now, the intention of this club is really to offer you a space where you can be in the energy of healing. You can be in the mindset of expansion. You can be and tap into the energy of possibilities once a month during our 2-hour virtual retreat, as well as ongoing messages that I will send you every single week with some deep activations also that you can do as meditations to anchor the knowledge. But really, my goal with this space is to help you create aligned actions and momentum in your life, in your business, in your relationships, so that you can feel yourself expanding. There's nothing worse than the status quo in these days and age. We are each responsible for our own healing, our own growth and evolution. And so I have created this membership, this space where you can come in and tap in, be in a high proximity container surrounded by women who are all on the same journey so that you can really level up. You can really live this life of your dreams. You can co-create with me, with the woman in there, with the universe. And so that this club, the Soul and Wealth Club, can become your sisterhood, a place where you can not only rediscover yourself, but also feel supported doing so. Women are designed to heal and rise together. And so this place is for sure the place you've been craving. This is the room you need to be in to reach new levels of transformation. And the club is available at only $222 a month with a minimum of 3-month commitment, only because I want you to feel this energy for at least 3 consecutive months in order to feel a true shift in your life. And let me tell you, from the feedback and the comment of the women in the urn there, it's incredible. We are creating magic every single day. And this is, I can tell you, this is the room you need to be in if you're wanting to expand and rise this year. The link is in the show notes, and you can always DM me if you have any questions. I hope to see you there. All you have to do is sign in and you'll be in. I hope to see you there. There's so many things that you've mentioned, you know, the work's therapeutic kept coming up for me. Like, I just love how your craft, and this is interesting because I share this so much in my teachings, that when you know that you are on the right track, your business or whatever you do for a living will heal you. That's how you know that you've landed in the right spot, in my opinion. Like, I feel more healed every day as I interact with my community, as I support them, surround them. I heal myself at the same time. And I just see you doing the same thing for yourself. And I just feel like your soul is just so happy. And I love that you brought your ancestors here in the room, because this is it. Like, we all are here we all come here with a mission. And isn't it so selfish when we just make it about ourselves? Right? I love that you brought them in, because it's so true. It's about so much, it's so much bigger than just you, like what you are doing. And listen, to those of you listening who have not connected with Heidi on Instagram yet, you have built an audience of like 100,000 plus people that are like singing your songs and dancing, and a lot of mamas that are like really vibing to, like you said, the power of your words and your story, and they are relating. And it's just so beautiful. And another proof that, yes, when we align, when we listen to that voice inside, when we take the bold moves, because it was very brave what you did. You could have decided to just stick to that stigma of 27-year-old and decide that you were too old and go and find a business marketing job, right? You could have done that.
Yep.
And so what was the pull for you that you were like, I cannot not do this? Was was there a particular moment, or did something happen for you that you were like, there's no going back?
Yeah, it was kind of a light switch, and I never actually looked back once I decided. And I can remember my husband and my mom's face, because they love me just so much, and they know, like, there's a lot of unknown when you decide to put yourself out there. And so when I was like, yeah, I think I need to share these as an artist, they were like, okay. And my husband's like, what does that look like for I was 36, and for a 36-year-old mother of two, like, and I was like, I don't know. I don't know what that looks like, but I got to find out. And the it was just like, I wouldn't have done it if I wasn't so proud of the songs, and if I wasn't so certain that they were coming from somewhere, it's like a higher power, I felt like I had always asked God, I was always like, I just want a great song. Like, I just want to come up with something awesome that can help the world. Like, I just, you look back at the songs that I've recorded for other artists, and there's a common thread of positivity, of empowerment in those songs too. It's always been about creating moments of healing in music for me. And so there's really not a song that's like misrepresenting me as a person that has come out, like it's the common thread is always my heart for how music can really, in 3 minutes, take somebody to a place of like our knees healing. I believe in that, and so because of the just how intentional and how like kind of they felt like downloads from above, I was like, I have to honor these songs. I have to honor wherever they came from and whoever chose me to share them with the world. And I do also believe that creative energy comes in, like it ebbs and flows. Like if I don't grab it, it's going to go off and find someone else because a message has to be shared.
Oh,
And so
I
I thought,
love that.
yeah,
Yes.
I was like, well, I'm not going to miss out on this adventure. Like I'm going to do it and see what happens and hope that the energy is matched. Like I find people whose hearts are in the same vibration and we can heal together. So when I say like people are like, what kind of music do you do? And I'm like, well, it's music to unlock the inner goddess and to heal the inner child. And the only way to unlock your goddess is to heal the parts of us that are blocking that real growth and so we have to address that. So I wrote several lullabies for my kids that the lullaby, the feeling song that I wrote for my son because I had to pick him up early from school because he was having a hard time going into preschool. It was like the first week, and they were like, we've tried everything. They laminated pictures of me and put them in, like, for him to hold and look at.
Oh my gosh, it almost makes it worse.
I think it made it worse because he was like, I go pick him up, and I'm just so blessed to have that ability to like cancel my world and just come and be there for my son. And he was eating his arroz con frijoles with the laminated picture of me like up on the wall in front of him against his little water bottle. And he was like, Mommy, it's time to go home. And he like packed up his stuff and he was just this like precious little almost 3-year old. And I brought him home. I put him in his crib I held him for a little while and then put him in his crib for a nap time. And then I sang this lullaby that I've sung to him hundreds of times for months, 7 to 8 months. And then he fell asleep. And I just thought, this is I want to remember this moment forever because I showed up as a mama, like I crushed it today. And so I just propped up my camera and I sang it again. And I recorded it and then I held on to it for a few weeks. And I just thought, you know what, I'm going to tell this story because it feels like I'm proud and it feels really special and I'm just going to share it. And within an hour, it had thousands of views. And then it literally has like almost 7.5 million views now. And that song, I just piggybacked all my other songs where I was like, I had over 20 million impressions on Instagram in like that month. It was just bonkers. And so I just started sharing all my other music and started building a community from there. And it was, the messages that I received from that have received like thousands and thousands from that song. It's been translated in 8 languages. I mean,
Wow.
there's like tough dudes with tattoos and all over their bodies who've messaged me and said like, this helped me and my 14-year-old nephew connect. Like this song is it's my family's anthem now. We sing it every night before bed. You've helped regulate my kids' autism. I mean, like there's just so many incredible messages. And then from from children's experiences and adults with their inner child experiences through
Mhm.
this one little lullaby that I wrote for my son and never thought anything of. So that kind of channeling of like what we need as people um, is like the greatest honor, and it's all I've ever wanted to do my whole life. So to say it came older, like as I was like a little later in life, like it took a journey to get here. I think that's beautiful, and I think that I have I'm owning wisdom, that comes with time and with experience. And so yeah, I was 24 and I moved here as an artist. Maybe I was younger and more ripe and had more energy to go to but I didn't have anything to say. I didn't know who I was. I hadn't even lifted the hood to like figure anything of this out. 10 years into therapy and through motherhood, I have realized I've like discovered my voice, and now I know I have things to say that other people are feeling. Other people's voids are like mine. And so I'm going to sing to that. I'm going to speak to that so that we can heal together. And I feel like my target demographic is women and mothers because I truly believe that an empowered mother of the household is a make everybody's taken care of. Everyone's okay.
Mhm.
Everyone's, empowered. A mom who is dancing to songs that are like uplifting her up is going to turn around and handle a tantrum totally differently, is going to handle a challenge totally differently, is going to, like love on a child in a even more authentically. And so that's like that kind of energy reverberating to generations that heals. It breaks cycles, it heals trauma that's been in our bones for centuries. It turns the ship. And if I can make a little impact with my music to help facilitate those moments for families, then like can you imagine what kind of a jerk I'd be not to do it?
Well, that's it. Yeah, that's why you're here, just so you know, like this is your mission. And I love that you said, if I don't grasp this, it's going to go to someone else because it's exactly how it works.
Mhm.
Right? It's like source, higher power, whatever you believe on is like, we got to get this message through. So who's going to be our channel? And
Yeah.
if you hold on to it and you don't share it, then it's like, well, it can't be her because she's holding on to it. And this
Mhm.
is such a great analogy to, sometimes when we know we have a superpower and we hold on to it from, the fear of being seen, the fear of what others will think, what you've mentioned, perfectionism, people pleasing, right? It can be, it can be really hard to know what's the right thing to do. But I love your story so much because it's a story of like, you just had no choice. It was so
Yeah.
strong in you that you're like, I have no idea where I'm going. Just like me, like it's kind of the unknown, but we're gonna give this a try. And I know that I'm supposed to be doing this. So let's
Mhm.
go. Let's go for the ride and let's stay open to receive. Let's stay open to opportunities. And of course, it's no wonder that opportunities are flooding left, right, and center in your space right now because that energy is magnetic. It is when it's you and your power, you're not trying to pretend to be anyone else. And I think it's interesting because my daughter is 10 and here she is now singing songs that they are singing at school. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's the worst. It's like the lyrics are so embarrassing. And I'm like, excuse me, what did you say there? Like, can
Yeah.
you repeat that sentence? But she
Yeah.
was like, I mean, she understands, but not quite. She doesn't
Totally.
really know what she's singing. And
Yeah.
I'm like, so I so appreciate to hear this point of view that you're like, now I'm using my voice to activate others. I'm using the frequencies of sound to
Mhm.
heal others as well. Like, I'm not surprised to hear all the feedback you got because that's what sound does. It helps to regulate, it helps, like, we are beings of frequency, it's like, of course it is. Um, and imagine if that much care, thought, love, compassion was put into all these lyrics, all these songs, and it wasn't about making the most money, and it, like, everything would be different. So I so appreciate that you're
Totally.
sending in your truth and creating a ripple there, because it's so important. Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree. I think that there's the messaging in music is not just it's like very it's sexualized our culture in a way that is getting younger, and it's impacting children younger and younger.
Oh yeah.
And like you said, they may not completely understand the lyrics, but the words start to, like, I just that it's crazy. They had that there's this amazing study that played different styles of music and different lyrics to plants,
Oh yeah.
and it's unbelievable the results. What what kind of music affect impacted the plant's growth? And you just go, okay, if it affects a plant, there's
Imagine.
imagine. And so then they've done a lot of studies where music can either take you further into depression and anxiety, or it can be a healing agent. And so, it's in the background all of the time. But when we put something on, when we decide to play something, and we create playlists, and we go to concerts, and we, like, those are choices that we're making of, like, what it's in the I think in the same way that we decide whether we're going to have McDonald's, or Taco Bell, or we're going to have some home cooked, organic farm raised chicken, right? Like, are we gonna like what we put in our mouth and what we put in our ears, and I mean, there's just really no difference, in
Yeah.
my opinion, because it's all ingested and it's all input. And so, and then that affects directly the output, what we have to share, how our spirit, and, whether we have a sense of community or a sense of isolation I've always, I mean, I remember there are times that I can tell you, like, oh, that season I was really depressed, and it was because, like, a certain album had come out and I just kept playing it over and over, and I loved the music, but the lyrics that I hadn't even really thought through that much were so negative that then I listen back when I'm, like, in a healed place, and I'm like, oh my God, no wonder. I was, like,
Mhm.
so, like, I was literally going to work and coming home, and making the same meal and then watching TV and going to bed. Like, and listening to this music that was just, like, brought the ceiling down and down and down until I lost parts of myself, because the music wasn't filling me. It wasn't giving, me any, like, it wasn't a resource. It was really pulling. And so, yeah, we have a responsibility to ourselves to go, okay, what do I want to put in? And Top 40 is going to feed us all these different ideas of what we should be listening to, and what sex should be, and money should be in our lives, and how we, you know, our relationships, and oh, maybe I should try that. And oh, like, I mean, the messaging is wild when
Yeah.
really read the lyrics. Um, but we have the power to say, actually, in my home, we will play positive music, and that's what it's limited. It's not a lot of music out there that, as far as what is offered, that feels wholesome and safe for the whole family. For my tia making tamales, I'm not going to blush when my grandma listens to this other song. Like, we can all just feel safe, right? And I want to create more music like that, so that um, all ages can really just enjoy and feel empowered and loved and supported. It's not for everyone. I've it's not I know it's not for everyone, because I've gotten to know some, like, the haters side of social media, and they're
Of course.
very, they're strongly opposed to what I'm doing, which is totally fair. I get it. Great art is supposed to trigger people on both sides. So I welcome the fact that I'm not for everyone. But for people who who resonate with an alternative to the music that's out there, like for us to enjoy with our babies and also feel like we're getting kind of a top 40 experience, like I hope to be a resource for a long time.
Oh my gosh. It's so beautiful, and I think you're nailing it. And in
Mhm.
fact, I always say I think it's great confirmation when you have haters because it shows you're doing a good job because nobody is for everybody. You are
Right.
owning the truth. You're not people pleasing. You're not molding, trying to pretend to be someone you're not. And but that can be scary, right? It comes with success, but I think it's amazing. It's amazing because we shouldn't be for everyone. And that is why, especially when it comes to music, I mean, there's so many options. And I love that you mentioned plants because you can literally go on Spotify and just type plant playlist and you can find tons and tons of playlists that are on specific frequencies just for your plants. Like, so
I
I love
love
that you mentioned input, being more aware, being more discerning of what we allow in our body, in our frequency, in our energy, in our
that.
chamber
Hmm.
is so important. And plus in our home with little ones. And for me, it's actually quite, just recently seeing my daughter pick up things that it's not coming from us. And she's singing these songs. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. Like, okay, here's something I didn't think about. Here's another opportunity for us
Hmm.
to go the other way even stronger so that she can feel, because I trust anyway, and I'm sure it's the same just through modeling and being, our best self and putting our best foot forward. I trust that my kids will be resourced and I trust that it won't be perfect, but ultimately, I know I'm teaching them to be connected to their bodies. I know I'm teaching them to be connected to their feelings. And I
Hmm.
know that eventually they'll be like, you know what, this actually doesn't feel right. There's something off here, right? So
Yeah.
sometimes it's not going to come from me, but just exposure alone is going to give them this awareness that, oh, wait a minute, there's this whole spectrum out there because we
Hmm.
don't know what we don't know, right?
Exactly.
I have a question for you. I'm super curious because, of course, here you are speaking and singing and writing your truth. I wonder sometimes, does it ever happen that you feel like almost like the words don't want to come out? Do you ever feel like almost like a throat chakra contraction where it's like, ugh, this is hard? Is that still happening to you where because speaking our truth is like the highest form of activation.
Mhm.
Does that ever happen to you still?
Yeah, it's I think when I go to perform some of my songs, a lot of my songs are that I've put out are in Spanglish,
Yep.
which is that's what I think in Spanglish.
Yeah.
I talk to my kids in Spanglish, and I it's just such a natural, that's kind of one of the reasons too, where I was like, who's gonna sing this song? It's in Spanglish. Like, there's no, there aren't very many Spanglish artists. And so I just kept like creating these songs that were like less likely to ever really relate to any artist other than me. So I was like, I need to share this. But I think, you know, there have been a couple of times because I'm both, my parents are from Nicaragua and Guatemala, and then my dad is from Cuba, but originally from Spain. And so
Oh.
I have both what would one would say like the colonizer and the colonized, the indigenous.
Mm-hmm.
So I am Native
Mm-hmm.
American and I'm also Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes um, the times that my throat chakra is like closing up and making it really hard for me to really express my truth is when I start to feel guilty for that, or I start to question whether I belong somewhere because am I fully, am I Latina enough? Am I going to be accepted here? I was asked to perform at Indigenous Peoples Day here in Los Angeles. And that was a really hard experience because I felt so nervous that they would accept me. as a lighter skinned Latina who has become very quite Americanized. I have a very Midwestern accent. I'm grew up in the Midwest and have had a very different experience from it's my own unique experience, right? From from others. And I just but I want to represent my Latino community. I want to share issues that are important to all Latinos, including people who have had harder experiences,
Yeah.
than significantly harder than me. But sometimes it's just old childhood stories, right? It's when um, I remember in eighth grade, my dad made this dish called ropa vieja, and it's this Cuban dish of like pulled beef. It's delicious. It's just like soft, pulled, delicious meat and very traditional Cuban dish. And I told my friends, yeah, I made ropa vieja for this school project. And they're like, what does ropa vieja mean? And I was like, well, it technically means old clothes. And they were just like, ew, that's disgusting. I don't want to eat old clothes. And they didn't want to taste it. And then I can share stories, examples of other times where I have felt shut down by people in the Latino community. And so my throat chakra, so, sometimes makes it hard to sing my truth when I feel like the messages I've received when I do, or that I've been told are make me feel rejected, make me feel
Mm.
like I'm not enough.
Mm-hmm.
And so the work that I've done and the work and the ongoing work that I do is to sing my song Magic Room, where it says, what if I told you there's a magic room and that it's every place that you walk into, and that you're not for everyone. It takes a lot of strength, or not everyone can dance so close to the sun, right? Like I start to sing my own lyrics to open that back up, to go, wait, my truth is my truth. No one can take that away from me. I am Latina enough. Those experiences happened to little Heidi. I am now older Heidi who can take care of her, who can hold her, validate that that wasn't fair, but show her gratitude for having stuck through it and persevered, right? And we can walk hand in hand together into this Indigenous Peoples Day, share my music that I feel strongly can help those whose hearts are also open, not having to be held responsible for people who are not ready to receive it, and just share. And so I can feel my body response to that kind of like feeling that fear of,
Yeah.
and I can feel the relief after I perform. And I feel like from October when I performed then to now, because I got pretty sick after that show. I got a cold right away, and like my body like shut down.
Wow.
And but from then until now, when I go up and perform, I'm like singing my own songs to me, because like you said, it's we're healing ourselves when we're really walking in our own, like destiny.
Yeah.
And so I'm healing myself as I share. And I feel like it's really just opening up all of the fear, all of the doubt, all of the fear of rejection, of not being enough. And I'm not experiencing that as often because I know who I am, not by other people's validation or accolades or criticism. I know who I am because I am now connected through the ancestral lineage, through the generations of the the kind of ancestor I will become. Like
Yeah.
proud. I'm proud on both ends. So what do I have to be, so, doubtful of or sorry for or shameful of? Um, so I could just own it, and then I sing, and my voice doesn't shake. My voice doesn't dry up and go away within a few songs. I can sing for hours because I'm singing from like a deep
Yeah.
soul, like down here. you know. It's not right here. It's not fragile, right? It's like rooted. So, yeah.
Beautiful. It's anchored. It's solid. There's
So,
strength. It's like there's power. You're not giving it away. It's in you, within you. You are it. It's so beautiful. I love it.
amen.
Oh
Thank,
my gosh.
thank you.
Um, there's so much I would want to say, so much more. I mean, like I think people that are listening to this are probably like, "Oh wow, okay, I like definitely there's no doubt why we connected. We are very, very, very aligned, like soul
Sisters.
sisters." Yes.
Yes, soul
Um,
sisters.
and I'm so proud and so excited that you're actually going to come in my fun biohacker coaching group to help women activate their own voice.
Mhm.
Because if there's one thing I've noticed, and I went through that, it's actually, I shared many times, it's the reason why I pushed myself to launch a podcast. It was to release this contraction I kept having in my throat chakra, where I kept holding back some information. I wouldn't fully share how I felt. I wouldn't fully share what I thought of something. And I was like, you know what? I need to do this. And it's going to force me into it. And it was the best thing I could have done.
Mm,
And now I feel just so at ease. But I notice this resistance to like,
mhm,
can I really share this? Can I really be seen as this? Can I really use my voice? I don't love my voice. I hate the sound of my voice. Like I hear this all the time.
mhm.
And while we can't fix this today, I'm really excited to bring this to people's awareness, because it's something that it's a muscle, right? The more we lean
Absolutely.
in, the more the softer we get with ourselves, the more we
Mhm.
give ourselves permission.
Yeah.
And I guess, even the more you practice, literally.
Absolutely. Exactly. I mean, people don't run marathons from one day to the next, right? The beginning is really tough, but then it becomes muscle memory and I mean, you can you can run at a certain point on the treadmill with your eyes, you're just
Yeah.
doing it. You know what you're doing. And it's just the persistence at the beginning to really trust trust in yourself, in God, the universe, to just meet you halfway, and then the work becomes easier, right?
Yeah, exactly. And really, I guess in closing, like if ever you're one of those women who feels like you don't like the sound of your voice, or you fear, just like start doing it in little bits. Like start maybe in the car, in the shower, where it
Mhm.
feels safe. And even, this is what I used to do. This is kind of weird, but I would record myself on my phone in my car when it felt safe, and I would listen to it again. I'd be like, oh, actually, it doesn't sound so bad. Like, I think I can get used to this.
Oh my gosh, I love it. That's amazing. See, there you go.
Yeah, exactly. So, my dear, where can people find you? Because I know they're chomping at the bit now to get connected with you and listen to all the beautiful music you put out there.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, you can find me on all streaming platforms, all ways, also the platforms where you buy music, iTunes, everywhere. I have like 5 or 6 songs out now, and I have so many new ones coming. I have a children's book and a song attached with a song coming out in September. I am
Yay.
a songwriting, performance, and vocal coach. So if you want one-on-one help, I can help you to really find yourself as an artist and your voice and share it with the world. And so many cool new projects, HeidiRojas.com, Heidi Rojas Music on all social platforms, and just stay connected, please, because the world needs our voice. And I think the older we get, the more wisdom that we hold if we're really intentional about what we're seeking out. And the world needs that wisdom. There's a lot of voices out there. And I think the wise ones will really just kind of cut through the noise to really just connect with each other. And you don't need an audience of 10 million people. You can just find the ones who are like-minded, and we can all change our little worlds.
The
It's
ripple.
it's a ripple. Exactly.
And guess
So,
what the ripple is? It's a frequency, right? And
mhm.
like, here you go. So more frequencies, more high frequencies of love, and trust into this world, and we can change everything literally around us, starting with our own kids and our own family and our own home, like you said. So thank
Amen.
you. I will link all of this in the show notes. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your time. Thank you for all your
Of
beautiful
course.
work.
Thank
And
you.
I cannot wait to see this book. I cannot wait to buy it for my family and to listen to the song that's going to go with it. I already know it's going to be epic. Congratulations ahead of
Excited.
time. I cannot wait
Thank
to
you.
support you on that journey.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for all that you do to empower women, the warrior goddesses that we are. And thanks for having me.
Mwah.
The information shared on this podcast is for information purposes only and doesn't provide any medical advice. Vanessa Grotman does not cure, diagnose, or treat disease. Please consult your physician before trying any new protocol or product.